فما زلت ذا عفو عن الذنوب لم تزل تجود وتعفو منة وتكرما.
You've got like one sentence in it. Don't forget the sisters.
Oh, that was
I saw the reviews of the 12 and man was smashing it with a hammer and it was not breaking. I was like, yeah.
that hammer was working. That was an Apple hammer, fam.
People were get a Mac Air inshallah and I'm not getting another laptop for a good 10-15
Don't
years,
get a pro.
Yeah, pro.
No, I'm
When you start doing something serious in the air, it will start screaming at you.
Yeah, pro.
No,
My wife's got there. And I've got
why?
pro.
Listen, I'm the one here that studied computer science and
Sorry.
I want to get an A.
Okay. We shouldn't argue a thing.
What do I need the pro for?
Abdullah is back.
Abdullah is do the intro, man.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's welcome back to you and welcome back to us for to Jollof after Jummah. Yeah, it's been a while.
Should we explain?
Couple L's, couple episodes that we couldn't put out, but
certain man are losing debates, son. Certain man are getting that. Some man are ringing Ofcom to get the episode pulled off because they could have handled it anyway.
If you know who you are, just gonna stand in the corner.
Know who they are.
You're just gonna stand in the corner.
So, anyways,
yeah,
if I speak,
is this the last guest? So I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We'll see. That episode, inshallah, will come out in
one day.
In like 2024 or something. It will come out
one day. Inshallah.
And then you'll see why. Anyway,
BTS.
Shout out them man, innit?
Trust
Shout
me.
out them man.
Trust me.
Was it Red Pill man? Them man.
I can't stand it.
I don't even know. Is it blue or red? Whatever it is.
That man tried to. They saw the pods. They saw the previous pods, the previous files, and they tried to tarnish. They tried to tarnish. Should I say tarnish me with their flag or
Tarnish you?
Not tarnish me with their flag. They tried to subscribe me to their team.
Yeah.
I'm not on Red Pill, bro.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
No. This is. I'm taking.
What's wait? Is Red Pill's the Red Pill's the opposite of feminism?
Red Pill's the women are all evil and
okay.
I'm not on that. I'm not on that. I'm not on that.
Man. But yeah, alhamdulillah, we're back. Hope this episode is reaching you in the best of health. Hope you've enjoyed your Jummah. But yeah, for the audio listeners, I think you can hear a familiar voice.
Jeez.
Has come back to join us.
Alhamdulillah.
This is one for the old school.
Yeah,
the old school judge listeners. But alhamdulillah, back with our brother Abdullah.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
You have to reintroduce yourself, bro.
There's a lot of people that won't know who you are,
My name's Abdullah. And, I'm one of the brothers.
Founding member of Judge.
Founding member.
No, I'll just say something. It's sad because when I this could be a downer, but this could be a negative. But when I stopped doing a pod, and I mentioned specifically I'm doing it because I'm doing other projects. I had a couple man ask me, and this is not just one person. This is a couple people. Like, oh, why are you not doing a pod? I was like, yeah, I'm moving to Bedford. There's bare things like there's bare things, and a couple of them were like, oh, what is it because basically is it because you didn't get along? It's like people when you're doing something, and you're doing something good, there's just people that are waiting, and this is not like this is brothers that we know. Some of them we know. It's like they're waiting for you to fall out. They're waiting for something bad to happen, and it's just sad. That's why I don't really talk about stuff that I'm doing, and I never like when. In fact, coming back to business, like another reason why I won't really tell people what I'm doing is because that, as well as Evil Eye, as well as people just asking 21 questions, like having full blown conversations for hours. And then when you... Okay, remember the thing I set up? The thing I set up, for, the brothers thing. You don't remember? This was like
Can I have to give me a bit more
years
context?
ago. I set up you know how we were talking about Ajwa? And
Okay, yeah.
And then I set up a kind of like... I set up a proposal, a plan for the business to invest together.
Okay.
It's crickets. But some of these brothers... I'm like, look, don't talk to me. about this anymore. Don't talk to me because and fair enough. You haven't got the means to invest, or you don't, or you can't. Affordability is not there at that time. At least let's do something constructive. Let's not for me, nothing to do with me, for you. But not interested, not bothered. But yet you will come and tell me, or you come and tell me,
So people they basically all talk.
Yeah.
They like the idea of doing something, but
listen, I'm not here to.
It's not easy.
I'm not saying nothing I'm doing, because I'll just have brothers spamming me in the inboxes with paragraphs. Oh yeah, what is this? How do I do this? What? I ain't got time. I generally don't. Because if it was one person, this wouldn't even be a conversation. But you have countless people wanting. Oh yeah, especially property. That one property. Oh my days. Oh yeah. So how did you get into it? Yeah,
Everyone wants to know.
I might have asked him that a couple of times and I saw my head's down.
Bro, the amount of time I've wasted, because the one thing I've realized as well recently, and it's so silly to say, not silly, maybe silly, but cliche. Time is so valuable. Yeah. Like, time is extremely, subhanAllah. That's one of the things that you can't purchase in this dunya. That Allah has given us, that Allah has created, and yet. That's why we can't curse. Like, that's why Muslims shouldn't be saying, I hate Mondays, or like, just.
I'm surprised you got messages.
Nah, I got, the thing is, yeah.
No. I'm talking about conversations. So there was one time there was one brother in particular where I said, what did I say? I said I left because I got good stuff to do, and I moved and whatnot. And then they asked about. Okay, so remember when I said I don't know if you want to cut this out or whatever. But remember when I said basically was one of the followers on Instagram, and I was like, someone's brought this to my attention that you guys follow this, and I don't agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a couple months down the line, I've left the pod and whatnot, and I was like, "Is it because they did that?" I was like, "No," but obviously we don't have to. We don't all follow. We're not all on the same page when it comes to that. But no, not that specifically.
What page?
And he was like, "Oh yeah, I knew it.
What page was it again? Huh? What page was it again?
I don't know.
I can't even remember.
It was one of the followers, but basically, I don't agree with that. But you guys were following it, and they wouldn't want. I put in a group chat that you guys brought this to my. I put in a group chat that someone brought this to my attention. It was that someone that was like, "Oh, I knew it." I was like, "Bro, why you you know, you're just like, why are you getting happy? Why are you getting like? You'll be surprised. Some people, like everyone's happy in your face, and everyone's, when you're doing well, everyone's like, everyone's supporting you outwardly, but hasad and envy and is real. It's real. Envy and jealousy is like, if you asked me 2 years ago or a year ago, jealousy, people are jealous of you, I'd get off. Man's not that guy to be going, that person's jealous of me. I've never once said that. It's never once come out of my mouth. But ever since, especially the pod, and especially myself being vocal on the pod about issues I've had, whether it be the finding a house situation in 2020, whether it be not making money for 2 years, whether it be stuff like that. Eventually, people start to think that you've fallen off or whatever, and you can't do nothing you're no longer someone that can do anything to help them, essentially, or you're no longer, even if it's just clout or whatever, the tiniest, I'm telling you, the tiniest thing. Most people, and it's sad, most people are in relationships where every single relationship they have, there's something to gain from that relationship. Even us as brothers, to be fair, what do we have to gain?
Yes, for the sake of
Allah.
For the sake of Allah.
Like kinship, hereafter.
the best reason to be.
So I guess that's correct for every, but I'm talking about dunya. Like I just mentioned the clout, which is not even, you can't really place a value on it. It's valueless. It's worthless. But even if that's all they can get in that relationship with a friend, that's the sole reason, or that's the main reason they're friends with that person. It's just sad. I think sad. When that's gone, or when they think that person's fallen off.
Yeah.
I think that people
they're wishing ill on that person.
Don't understand. Those people don't understand. Obviously, I'm a bit edgy. Sorry. Those people don't understand that. Firstly, us man have been bros for like, I've known Dawwah since I was like 8 years old or something. But I didn't even younger. Ibs a bit less, but still like since I was 10 or whatever. Like this podcast thing is not. It's light, innit? Like it's such a small fragment of our relationship, our story, all the brothers. Like we always say, like this could have been, this could have been any combination of 3 or 4 brothers from 15 or 20 or 25. So like I don't know. People obviously nowadays, you know, we got.
Have you guys had that?
Yeah, I got a little, but obviously nowadays this is the Love and Hip Hop Big Brother Love Island society, innit? Everybody wants everybody wants gist, everybody wants tea in it. So everybody thinks that there's a story behind everything.
And the fact that I genuinely said on the last pod I did, I'm like, I wanted to say what I'm doing, but at the same time I don't, because that's between me and Allah, innit? I want to gain that ajr. I want to gain that. I want that. Like, for me right now, what I've been doing recently is I've just been selfish. Like I'm just being more selfish. I'm just focusing on myself. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this for my hereafter. I'm doing this for the akhirah. I'm doing this. I'm literally like Uncle Tawfiq said, paying my way to Jannah. I'm telling you.
That's the witches, yeah.
Inshallah. Of course.
See, I like it, and I'm joking. Of course you do.
I watch it more than when I was, because see me, I can't watch myself like that.
100.
But now that I'm not on it, I can tune in. What was I gonna say? I'm terrible with this, man.
Rusty.
If I get interrupted, I'm just terrible with this. But yeah.
You're paying your way to Jannah, basically.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah. Bro, man wants to make hijrah, bro, but I can't at the moment because I want to put certain things in place financially, inshallah, and also I want to work with certain people. There's certain, like I've got a Word document with pages of points that I want to tick off. Foundation wise, like I want to start a foundation, inshallah. Pages of stuff I want to tick up. I want to tick off before I make hijrah, and I want to tick it off and then that's done. That box is ticked. I just want to set that fire and get that running before I duck out, because this country is everyone's talking about the living crisis, bro. Listen, man's just today, man's take after this. That's why I'm just like this. I'm taking my missus to go eat at a Nigerian spot, inshallah.
Did you find one with no music?
Bro, do you know how long it took me to find one with no music? But shout out to
Is it Dude's thing?
No, because
that's the closest.
But there's a one Big Ben, I think it's called Big Ben or something like that in my mum's area. Bro, do you know Nigerians love a rave? They love a rave. Nigerian spot, and they got DJs and everything. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, this music thing is crazy, man. I think we spoke about in the episode like with
Tamim, yeah.
I was driving today.
Going shopping and they're playing music. What has music got to do with getting groceries?
I was driving, I was in North.
Yeah.
I was on the way back from my patient's house. And I'm just hearing music like loud.
It's crazy.
I look out my window, there's this guy on a bike with a speaker strapped to the back of a bicycle.
Bro, it don't even need to be that. You got
booming.
You got man on skates, roller skates. And they got the boom box.
Bro, it's peak, man.
It's a disease, man.
It's actually peak. It's peak.
But yeah, going back to that, I can't even go to the restaurant with my family. Like and I'll go into this in a minute. See, when you're by yourself, you and your wife, is one thing. But when you got your child and you want to raise your child properly, and you want to give your child that tarbiyah, and you want music to be foreign to them, even though it's literally impossible. That's what I'm saying. It's impossible in the Western world.
It's impossible in this country.
It's impossible in the Western world to raise children.
Yeah.
In a way that music's just foreign to them.
It's everywhere, man.
It's literally
everywhere.
Bro, I live in a semi-detached house, yeah, and I'm not doing this again. My neighbors are playing crazy. You know, white people. I'm sorry to say, white people. My neighbors are playing Crazy Frog on blast, the disco music every Sunday. Bro, it's
Crazy
Frog, you know.
Crazy Frog. I'm not making it up. That's one of the many reasons why I'm moving now. Like,
oh my days, that was actually primary school stuff, bro.
Should we get into some topics? Yeah, go on. I had a couple things I want to talk about. First thing, actually, just to give you that warning. The main thing I want to talk about, yeah, came off the back of obviously the other day, me because apparently I used to be a drug lord. I used to stab 100 people. So whenever there's any talk about knife crime or gang violence in Nigerian community, they call Abdul Malik. I don't know why I attract this, bruh.
Oh, we will know. Maybe we'll put the picture on screen.
Put the picture on screen, did it?
If you
on screen, it. Well done. See if I don't expose your life. I'll be drinking tea with your mum, going through baby pictures. Anyways, yeah. So obviously we did that focus group or whatever you call it. Some stuff came out, and a lot of it, was related to, engaging the youngers, or making sure people are staying on the right track, etc., etc. That boring topic that we discussed again, but it's important, innit? And obviously, with the way what we do, youth, etc., it's kind of a major part of our lives. Like our like the dawwah that we do is probably mainly focused on youth and trying to keep them on the right track. But before that, Jummah, obviously Jollof after Jummah podcast. I went, I said I was talking to you before. I went ICT today, yeah. I'm calling ICT mosque for Jummah because I was off work, alhamdulillah. And not that I go to Jummah when I'm at work. So let me make that clear. Just not that one. But yeah, man. And as I was leaving, yeah, that the area is a very like Muslim area, innit? That like high street or whatever. As you're walking past, yeah, you realise that bare man don't go Jummah,
Yeah, bro, it's Croydon, man.
But like,
don't go Jummah.
Don't go Jummah. Like, as in, there's just obviously every shop is like Muslim cafes, shops, barbers. And I'm like, none of you man wear Jummah.
It's sad
like,
to
just
say,
bait face.
Well, it's sad to say, bro. Even during drama, man, the crackheads got to get fed.
Bruv.
That's, unfortunately, a lot of these drug dealers are Muslims.
But forget drug dealers, because they got bigger problems, or they got problems. Bro, they got other problems.
I lived in Croydon, bro.
I know.
Seeing it now. This guy's messaging me every 5 minutes, bro. I didn't know it was like this, bro. Croydon's but it's just
everywhere, because even at work, like you'll be we'll go like you'll pray Jummah. Sometimes, yeah, like your mate will do in the prayer room before you go to the place where Jummah is, and you see people praying Dawwah in the prayer room, and it's like, big man, it's just like, yeah, obviously they're just praying Dawwah. They're not gonna go Jummah, innit?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and obviously for the people specifically who are doing work in that, there's a specific verse in the Quran specifically where it says, leave your business and go to the mosque. Like, leave your business and go to the masjid. But people are not. I'm like, there's so many things that are difficult to do as a Muslim. Yeah, praying 5 times a day. Okay, you might say it's difficult. Yeah, but Jummah, the thing that everybody's doing. Yeah, you know what they say about a sealed heart. To me, that's the biggest evidence, because if your heart must be sealed. Yeah, if you know this is a obligation on you, a simple one that everybody is doing, and you can watch people walk past you to go and do it, and you're Muslim, they know you're Muslim, and you can walk till people come back, and you're not doing it. That's a madness, man.
I remember when I was in secondary school, some killers I knew, even they would go to Jummah. Like, if they don't pray, if they don't do anything, the minimum they would do, act. Let's go.
Even if it's a link up, like it's so like, but it's so foundational.
Bro, man will go Jummah same day, evening. They go and rave. So like the minimum people would do is go Jummah. Like
if it's school, I was going.
Yeah, do you know what? It's just one thing I just want to say. I think maybe obviously first of all, like it's a reminder for us first and foremost, but just sometimes.
No, that's man not going Jummah. Like sometimes you have to.
I know. I know.
No, I hate. Do you know what I mean? But like, it's sometimes I'm like, bruh.
And what would not that I resonate or empathize with those people, but I think sometimes people do just need the reminder.
But if you're going to school, yeah, it's true.
Sometimes people, like honestly, and
this is my harsh way of doing it.
Yeah,
and if we know the person, why don't we pull them to the side?
Yeah,
give them some dawah.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's sometimes
most importantly make dua for them.
Yeah,
because sometimes that's all these people need. You don't know what circumstances these people. You don't know what company these people have around them, etc.
100%. No, honestly, sometimes it is just a reminder because, and I'll use myself as an example, like going to trying to pray Fajr in the masjid, innit? Like over the last couple of weeks, me myself, I'd been a little bit lazy with trying to pray Fajr in the masjid. Not that I wasn't praying at all, but I just wasn't going to the masjid, and I was just being lazy with it. Like I'd wake up on time, and then just not feel like going, and then I just reminded myself this morning, like, what's the reason that you're going to Fajr in the morning? And then I remember the hadith. It's like the characteristic of a hypocrite is someone that struggles to pray Fajr in the masjid. And I was like, fam, what am I doing? And just like that.
Everyone should at least try to pray at least Fajr or Isha in the masjid.
Yeah. But that's the point I'm making. Sometimes it is just a reminder. Like it can be something that you've done so consistently, and then, you know, maybe you've just had a bad period and you've just fallen off, and sometimes it's just a reminder that you need just to spark you back into doing what you need to do. So I guess that's maybe just a bit of an excuse for those people.
To segue
a little bit, but
segue from
quickly before you segue with it, like obviously, like people go to school, and this is another reminder. Then these are the people that I guess I'd be less harsh with, because I can empathize with definitely people in school, people in college, that type of thing. Yeah. But you know, obviously, we know the hadith. I believe it is. You know, the how Allah seals the hearts of the people who miss it 3 times. And I'm like, for me, the biggest warning sign is that, you know, Allah's told you He's going to seal your heart, and if you're looking at this and this resonates with you, or somebody who may find it easy currently to, or not, it doesn't hit your mind that, you know, that people are walking past me to go Jummah and I'm not going. That is, to me, that's a sign. That's one of from the clear signs of a sealed heart, because that means you've lost that fear, that hope, that you know. In that case, you know, obviously, those people, if that's you, if that's your situation, strive. Because Allah said at the end of that verse, in kuntum ta'lamun, when Allah said, you know, when Allah says, if only you knew. Yeah. You know what that means? Deep what that means. If you knew. Yeah. If you knew. You know, like, that whenever that is in the Quran, I always think, oh, bruv, like, the way I like to think of it in my head is that, you know, if I can't remember who said it, one of my teachers said it, like, if the whole of mankind could only get a 2-second peak of the hellfire, or 2-second peak of Jannah, they will spend their whole life in prostration. Yeah. Their whole life, they will not get bored. They'll spend their whole life in prostration. Obviously, that's the nature of Bani Adam, and that's the nature of humans. Like we're just, you know, we need to be reminded. We need to be reminded, and we're forgetful. But bro, yeah, man. If we knew.
How many times have we heard? Has it been repeated where a person will live their whole life in this dunya in luxury, and they'll be dipped in a hellfire for
and
a tiny period.
They'll forget.
And they will say that they
never suffered. Yeah. They will say that not that then that's the opposite. The other side of it. Sorry. Sorry.
And then obviously that they will spend a tiny time in Jannah, and they will say
they never
after
suffered.
living dunya, and they will say that they never suffered. Yeah.
Anyways, what was you going to segue? Sorry, that was just a quick reminder.
I was going to segue onto kids, man. SubhanAllah,
kids, links in with what I want to talk about. Yeah,
literally change your life. SubhanAllah, they're a blessing. They're a blessing from Allah. There's no doubt about that. They're from Allah. Listen, Because all of this we're talking about, obviously there's ikhlas, there's sincerity, but when you have children, it changes your whole life. You start to find yourself checking yourself because you're in front of your children, and you want to give them that tarbiyah, and you don't want to provide a bad example for them. Like stuff like, for example, if I had a boy, inshallah, I will have boys, inshallah. When I do have boys, I don't think there's any way I'm going to be, especially when they grow up, and when they not even grow up as in teenage years, when they're 7, 8. Once they reach the 8 where they have to start being disciplined for not praying, I don't think there's going to be any way where I could be in front of them and I'm not going to the masjid to pray Fajr. Like, I'm waking them up, inshallah. Because okay, let's talk about, that's hypothetical. That's in future, inshallah. Let's talk about now with my daughter earlier. There's times where I want to do something or I don't want to do something and she's just there. I'm just like,
Can't really think this one.
Yeah.
Sticky one.
This can't run. YouTube, for example, I'm watching YouTube, and although what I'm watching is not sinful, there's an ad that comes up, or maybe what I'm watching, there's 1 or 2 swear words in what I'm watching, and the guy starts saying it, and I pause it or I mute it quickly, and I'm like, Allah.
Daddy, you said a bad word.
Should I be watching this? Because there's no way a person upon taqwa, is going to be swearing, even if it's 1 or 2 swear words in a video. There's gonna be other actions that are gonna be, because actions of the heart,
and you're normalizing that.
So there's gonna be other stuff in the video which, although I don't deem it to be fit, I don't deem it to be any issues to be with it. If I look deeply into it, there's I shouldn't be watching this. So there's stuff like that. Even the Quran. Me and myself personally, I try to read the Quran once a day. I'm not saying this to seem like whatever, because that's nothing, to be honest. I could be reading 1 verse a day. But there's days where it's nearly time for Isha. I'm just like, I've eaten a lot. And just go to sleep. But subhanAllah, I'll even show you a clip in a minute. I'll crop it. Ali is there, and I'm like, you know what? Let me read it so that she can see me reading. And subhanAllah, now, bro, there's a clip my wife took the other day of her climbing on our dining table and opening a book, opening the Quran, the kitab, and just going. It makes me.
That's sick, man.
SubhanAllah, it does something to me, bro. That's kids. If
Sponges in it,
bro. SubhanAllah.
I'm back. That's beautiful.
They wait. You can cut this out and I'll find it.
Cool.
I just found it mad. Let me crop out.
Yeah, make sure you're careful. Yeah. We'll crop it. I want to see this.
Palace, Arsenal, Palace are playing today. I want to watch this,
All right, there we go.
Tajreed is pattern just still. What's that? Yeah, I seen ya. MashaAllah. Nah, that's beautiful, man.
She literally climbed the table, opened the Quran, and just started. And she's ripped. There's been a time where she's ripped a part of it, but I just thought, I can't. When your children see you doing something, doing acts of worship repetitively, it's gonna be second nature to them.
Yeah.
It's gonna, because already, like, it's fitra, like It's we were born to do this. We were born to worship our Lord. So when they see you reaffirming and doing these acts, how else you can't go wrong. You literally cannot go wrong.
That's second nature, and if it's not second nature, like the hadith says, it's the parents that turn them away from it.
100%, and that's why we have this responsibility to give them that tarbiyah. Like we have this innate. How do I put it? That's why. In fact, I'll go into making hijrah. That's why. Obviously, we follow Ustad AMUA or AM Al-Madrasatul Umariya, Ustad Abdullah Hassan. On there, Ustad Tim Humble was part of it.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying, and I'll paraphrasing just in case, that surely making hijrah is wajib upon every Muslim, because you just, myself, I don't personally see how it's possible to raise children. No, sorry, not make hijrah. Take them out of school, like keeping children in public school. Surely it's wajib to take your children out of school as Muslims in this country, in the West, where they're teaching all kinds of nonsense, and raise them upon the correct aqidah, the correct tarbiyah at home, because it's not feasible, it's not possible as a Muslim to leave it.
I think it's definitely getting.
I think it's already there.
To that,
it's already there.
Okay, yeah. I guess what I mean is that obviously not every school, but if you're going to that school, that type of school, then it's a write off. Like basically, obviously, I don't think a child you can send your child as a Muslim.
I remember them saying that obviously there's Islamic schools, but even then, it's like that's kind of a last resort thing, because even then there's still issues. It's just nowhere near as much as
Islamic schools and
Western.
Obviously, I'm not an expert on the schoolings, just like Islamic schools, that type of thing. I think Islamic schools and public schools, the problems are different. Because in an Islamic school, they're not going to teach your child LGBTQ, and they're going to teach your child, And it's mad. Some of these teachers, one sec. Yeah. Like I saw a video yesterday on YouTube where it was a compilation of teachers in public school, talking about what they teach the children, and it's like they are themselves. Literally like, because it is obviously we forget. I think people forget who teachers are in like secular teachers or whatever. A lot of these people are just like people that went uni, decided to be a teacher. It's a career, it's a job, and outside of that, they are any type of person. So you could get, like we see on the street, we go on the road, especially from the Muslim Islamic perspective. There's bare sickos out there. Yeah. So some of these sickos are just coming to school, and that's why it's mad. And especially primary school, I think is worse, because primary school is where the teacher has more free reign. I can say for a fact for myself, obviously I went to a different weird kind of primary school, but it was a church, but there was benefit in that for me.
Bloody Peppa Pig.
You wouldn't get that in my school. But what I can definitely say is the emphasis, like the teachers' personalities. I remember all my primary school teachers, and what I remember of them is their personalities, because their personalities rubbed off on me, because they're the ones who would teach you manners and how to talk to people and stuff like that. And imagine, they were like, their life view is that this is the top of their agenda is, acceptance of all of this stuff that, and that's literally what they're going to go and teach the kids, and they have free reign to do it, because that's essentially what their remit is, to teach children how to have manners and how to interact with people. But they're doing it from their manhaj and their manner on some. So and anyway, the teachers were bragging. They were like, so like, I just introduced myself. In the school, they told me to introduce myself as Mr. This or Miss This. But I was like, and in the school, it's against the rules to bring up this. But I thought, no, I think it's more important that the children learn this from early and blah, blah. Flipping hell. And they were boasting. I
think this is what
we're going anyway.
We're going. Let me not even say what I was gonna say, because we'll just take a left turn.
We got episode on this coming. Loading.
When you think about when you think about the time that your children are spending the most attentive time, and when I say attentive time, I'm not talking about when they come home and everyone's busy or I'm talking about time where everybody's attentive, quality time. When you think about the time they spend is with the teacher, because they're there 5 days a week. They're there paying attention to what they do. 5 days a week. How many hours? When they come home, it's relaxed time. It's not really attention time.
Learning time, yeah.
They have the weekends, and then
it's school.
Like,
most of their time is in school. Yeah.
And Muslims, we love to pull the LGBT card and say, "Oh, cool. Not gonna. The LGBT is the most toxic thing that they're gonna be teaching in school. That's why we need. That's not the only thing, bro. Even the basic stuff like manners, teachers get disrespected on a different level. When you think that these children are disrespecting people that are older than them, people that they see authority figures, how do you think they're gonna come home and they might be showing you this? It comes back to tarbiyah. How do you think they're gonna treat the authority when they come home? Yeah, they might be cool now, but as they grow up, they've learned how to reject authority. It's already there. It's already programmed into their system. So as they grow up, it's inevitable that stuff's gonna start to go wrong.
I think the kind of idea of homeschooling kids is becoming more and more apparent now. I have been hearing a lot more stories of it recently, and I think the first time I heard it was when you said it.
Yeah,
I think that was the very first time I heard someone saying they're going to homeschool. I remember when I heard it.
People in our community, there's a few.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I remember when I first heard it when you said it. Not that I found it. It wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't far fetched. I could understand why you said it, but then because I hadn't heard it before, I was like, how's that going to work?
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But we're not raised in such a society where people are being raised to be workers and people are being raised to serve the system. Of course, you're not going to be taught about homeschooling. If you think about homeschooling, you can get more done in maybe 3 or 4 hours of one day than you could in 3 or 4 days of schooling, of children going to school. Because how many breaks do they have? When you take into the time, especially in secondary school, I remember we'll go to periods. When you take into consideration the periods, the time they spend messing about, the breaks, all of this stuff, and the rate at which they teach, because you're forgetting when you're homeschooling 4 or 5 kids, you're able to tailor you're able to tailor the syllabus and the work rate. But when you're working with 30 kids in a school, you're gonna have to dumb it down so that
you can all move
each of the even if they're in sets, kids are gonna be at different levels, and rightly so. They're gonna have to slow the rate down to meet each kid, as well as the stuff they have nowadays. Don't. This is gonna be too much for them. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, and obviously, it's designed obviously to keep kids at school, to keep kids in a place while the parents are at work, so the parents can work. That's 100%. What the school system is basically.
I want to take a very, very quick left turn.
Yeah, go on.
I wanted to ask you a question actually, and this is kind of based off. I had a conversation. I had basically something a ma'am said a few days ago, and kind of how do I say this? Kind of scenario was he was speaking to like a married couple, and one of the advices he gave them was like one of the advice he kind of gave them was maybe you guys should consider having kids, because what kids can do is that if you see your husband as a father, or if you see your wife as a mother, sometimes that can kind of increase the love between one another. Does that make sense? So just seeing your spouse in that kind of role, looking after something that's yours together, that can kind of increase love between the two of you. So I guess what my question was to you was, how does having a kid like change the dynamic within the marriage?
Yeah, it definitely increases the love. Like even if we look at the non-Muslims, how many how many guys? I can't talk about females because I never really had female friends like that. How many guys do we know where they address the woman that they're not married to, that they have no other than the child, they have no other ties to. If they wanted to leave, they can leave at any time. All they need to do is just take care of the kids. But how many times do they address them with such love and say, "Oh, the mother of my kids," or "my baby mum"?
Baby, I hate that term.
I hate it. But
so much.
But how many times do they address them with that, as if on the same level as being married or being? Naturally, when you have a child with someone and they're doing their job, and they're taking care of your offspring that you love and you care of, naturally, it's gonna build love. It's gonna increase that love for the one who's taking care of the one that you love, if that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, that sounds about right.
Anything else in terms of the dynamic within the marriage? Not just in terms of not just obviously love is an important part of that, but just other things in general.
I don't know what you want me to say, to be honest.
Just the dynamic in general. Do things change? I mean, obviously you mentioned before about how things change for you.
Yeah.
But just how things change for you together as a couple.
Me myself, I can say without I can say wallahi, I've never grown up or seen in my lifetime physically anyone love their partner the way my wife loves me. Like if someone say Allah Mubarak.
Maybe I've seen more in it.
I'm talking about me in it. Okay. But yeah,
this part of the pod. He's gonna clip this part. I want to send it to her.
Send it to her.
Oh, I thought you meant you're gonna clip this. I don't.
Whenever she's angry at you, just WhatsApp her this video.
Yeah.
Smart. I like it. It's smart.
No. But yeah,
Abdullah's come back smooth, you know, the turtleneck and that.
What turtleneck?
It's true. It's not even a turtleneck.
We should talk about polygamy. But yeah,
for his other fans, he's got to keep the man them happy as well.
Nah. This is me. I'm not on that red. I'm so pissed off that I came here today.
You've come with your RA language again.
With Vim for those Red Pill guys, because they generally try to class me as part of their club. Because I hate feminists.
Don't worry.
I hate feminists. I don't hate women.
Where was you going? I don't want you to lose your track of what you're saying.
It was nice.
You was on there.
Let's go back.
No.
I'm being too. What?
I'm like, yeah, alhamdulillah, man. My wife loves me. She loves me. I've never seen a woman love a man like the way my wife. And it's not unhealthy love. Like, you know, when we use terms like sprung and this stuff where, even if, for example, you're doing something that disobeys Allah, she will do it if you click. No, it's not that. It's not that. It's true love for the sake of Allah. Like, obviously, I'm not going to talk about my situation growing up, but yeah. Let me leave it there.
Shout out to the wives, man.
Yeah, and I've seen situations and relationships that are good. Allahumma barik around me, but the way my wife treats me and the way, like, yeah, alhamdulillah.
Allah bless your family.
I mean, but yeah, man.
I don't think you're gonna get whatever you're trying to get. I don't think you're gonna get.
Man's trying to take over. So
I don't know what Ibs was trying to drive at, but I don't know if Ibs was trying to get some. I'm joking. Essentially, what I wanted to talk about, relating to, remember what I said before about the focus group, knife crime, etc. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. You know, another thing I heard, was another thing that happened to me recently, was I was around a group of brothers, and for want of a better term, the brothers who are brothers that are known to me, younger ones, were speaking in a derogatory way about some of the programs, etc. that we run as, you know, Man Youth, all that type of stuff.
Oh.
And a lot of this was bravado, innit? A lot of this was just when you get like 15 people together trying to be cool or whatever, But essentially, what I was, and then that happened. Then the next day, I'm talking about, you know, kids that are, you know, that are not following Deen at all and blah 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 blah. And that just got me thinking, yeah, like the way that we do our da'wah, youth, etc. I think we have been too slow to react to the situation of modern times. And what I mean by that is, you know how obviously every other Saturday, Kent Road Masjid, Dudu Salma with Ustaz Fahad Sabri that was on the podcast, going through the book, Genuine Knowledge, Essential Lessons for Every Muslim. That type of content, and remember we had this conversation and I was very strong about this, yeah, and when we had our Shura meeting, this type of content, I believe, is the only way to make an impact, a genuine impact on 16, 17, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds that are not engaged with Islam. And the reason I say that is because exactly, and the reason I say that is because, like with those people that, you know, are in gangs and, you know, chilling on the blocks, shotting weed, whatever, and people talk about parents, people spend 90%, 95% of their time in school, like we were talking about, on the block, like we were talking about, or in homes that we were talking about. And a lot of the time, these homes are not in Islamic environments, are not conducive to an Islamic environment. What the parents' understanding or what the parents' idea of good Islamic upbringing is to send them to Marrakesh for 3 hours and nothing else. So us in youth, yeah, in my opinion, us in youth, yeah, have been fooling ourselves, yeah, in my opinion, thinking that we can take people away for 4 days, teach them adab, you know, teach them 100%. This, and it's going to make a meaningful, impactful difference to their character as a whole. 100%. I think that we've been playing ourselves.
And I'm going to say this.
I know it's a big statement.
Correct you. You said you don't think it's parenting. I do think it's parenting. Like,
did I say I don't think? Yeah.
You say you can't really. You basically kind of indicated that it's not all the parents. It is all the parents. Like, because it's lazy parenting. No. To say that you're gonna send your children to madrasa, and then that's their tarbiyah, that's their 4 hours, 2 hours a week sorting, and then they're just gonna come home and do nothing. No. Even if, and there's a lot of parents that use the excuse of, oh, I don't know, I haven't memorized the Quran, so what can I do? Like, just send them there. No, I'll say it's even, maybe, okay, yeah, I'll say it's even better, because the fact that your children see you going to classes and studying, that will will them to that's even better.
Do you know, case example, you was at the Zoom minute. Was you listening to when my dad spoke?
No.
So you might have left by then.
Yeah.
So my dad basically said, yeah, and, you know, shout out to him, because I was like, it's true, you know. He said essentially that the parents, like what Dullah said, they need to take responsibility, because he believes that the reason that they were able to make an impact from that early generation, and they're right, is because of the fact that not only did they send the kids to the mosque, they went to the mosque and they were there at the same time. Now, another thing, when you think about it, and think about youth now, think about who's still around, think about who's doing shura, etc., who's the prominent people, and there's other reasons, but think about all of these people that you know that are, you know, about.
Yeah.
You also know generally their parents.
Yeah.
You've seen them around. You always used to see them. That can't be a coincidence.
Fair enough. I hear that.
Obviously, there's going to be exceptions, of course. Yeah. But generally, the people when the parents are involved, the kids are involved. When the parents are quickly tying head scarf so that they can drop them but to come out of the car and in their skinny jeans and drop them to the door of the mosque and they walk away. Obviously, you know, obviously it's banter. Like, obviously, it's not a judge thing. Like, it doesn't surprise you to see. It's evident. Yeah. It's evident.
So, okay, cool.
So for me,
I think it's extremely naive.
Yeah, it's naive, bro.
It's extremely naive to be one way. To be one way in front of your children, let them see that example of you, and then to believe that they're gonna turn out another way, or to expect them to be. I'm not saying it's naive to want them to be another way.
Yeah.
Anybody can. Like, you want the best. I don't think there's anybody there who doesn't want their best for their children. But to expect to expect your children to be a certain way when you're one way is extremely naive and it's ludicrous, to be honest. That's just me. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a defense for these parents, but it's difficult because we had a conversation like this, you know, at the retreat.
Yeah.
Like the difference between like active parenting and actually being there for your kids, and you know.
Yeah.
But then I don't know, are all of these parents in that position where, you know, they can't be active parents because they're working?
There's no, when it comes to your children,
on the table, and some parents are in that position where they don't physically have time to be active parents because, you know, they're working to put food on the table, to put a roof over their kids' head. So
yes,
that's a separate situation to what you're talking about.
Do you know it is, sometimes as a parent you're not gonna have time, etc.
Yeah.
But, and this is, remember what I said on that day. Cool. You might not have the knowledge. Okay, fine. Firstly, it should be, and obviously this is me speaking as not a parent, so, you know, I understand. Ideally, your priority should be to strive to gain some of that knowledge.
100%.
And secondly, how many of these people that, you know, that you may be making a defense for, I'm not saying a defendant, but that it's all about, okay, get if they get A star, and I think I said this on the focus group, if they get an A star or 5 A's in their GCSEs, they'll throw a party. If they memorize Jummah with perfect tajweed, well done, my son. That, to me, that balance in your household is all wrong. So you're emphasizing the wrong thing. So not only is yourself, you're not displaying a good, you know, displaying the importance of a good Islamic upbringing, good Islamic foundation in your household. Not only is your actions displaying it, but in what you're saying and what you're specifically telling your child to focus on is also minimizing or downplaying the importance of the Islamic upbringing. So all of that together, why is Islam going to be important to that child? Why is it? And then you said Abdul Malik, some guy with nappy dreads, is telling me to come and, you know, be good to my parents and read Quran. It's important for 4 days, and then I'm gonna go home. And
it's all out the window.
So for me, in my opinion, the best way, because, you know, the nature of dawah is that, you know, you're not gonna catch, and this is dawah, and I think this is something that as a youth or whatever, I think we've underplayed the fact that what we're doing is dawah. And we have to understand that as dawah and apply a lot of the
beginning. But
I think. Do you get what I mean when I say I don't think people really? Because do you know the word dawah? It's a big word, isn't it? So it's what people don't want to say. I'm giving dawah. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's something that people, because it comes with connotations, it comes with responsibilities. But at the end of the day, you know, we're calling people to Islam and to be good. That's dawah. So we're calling to it. That's calling. That's it. So the principles of it should be followed, and the best principles, and that is, you know, upon evidences and upon, you know, using the Quran, using the Sunnah, and trying to instill that in people, not coming up with 1,000 different techniques, you know, mind games, tricking them, football. I'm not saying these things, and of course there's a place for these things. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. What I'm saying is when that becomes the root, it becomes a youth club, bro. And obviously it's youth, but it becomes a youth club, like an actual Southwark Community Centre youth club. It turns into that.
I don't know.
And those things don't have impacts on people's lives like that.
How
they occupy people's time. That's what youth club is, bro. It's a place to send your kids to occupy their time.
I wouldn't categorize what we're doing as a youth club, though.
I still think.
Yeah,
youth,
I don't either.
I still think youth.
I don't think it does either.
What it is now, not a youth club, but what it is now, I still think it has its place, because you still introduce youths that are from different areas that wouldn't usually hang around each other. Still introduce them to good company.
Okay,
this is it. This is it.
Good company in such a society like this, in such a Western society like this, is what is extremely hard to come by. Is a gem.
So
and I'm not saying there hasn't been results.
I do get what you're saying, that maybe
I'm gonna give you a scenario.
Maybe as times have changed, maybe we failed to adapt. I kind of hear that, but at the same time, it's like, we can only do what we think is best, innit? And I feel like what we think is best and what we know is best is what has worked for us and is what has brought us together as a community.
Are we doing what we think is best, or are we doing what we know? What we know best.
Okay,
jeez,
fair enough. No, that's fair.
But you know what I mean? I feel like it's more that, because let me give you a scenario. Yeah? Think of a youth. Yeah, let's say my man, a brother, that came to a last youth, for example, like last camp, first camp, came ball with us a couple of times, young brother. Yeah. And I'd say that coming to youth and stuff like that may have been this brother's first, and he's young, first real proper exposure to an Islamic environment, Islamic focused environment, everybody's on deen, trying, striving, that type of thing, praying, reading Quran, that type of thing, and it's intense, cool. And it's in a man youth, like whatever camp setting, yeah. That's that, yeah. We can clearly see, based on how there's how many cases, that whatever we're doing, yes, it makes an impact on people, it does, but it doesn't change them a lot of the time, yeah. Okay. And obviously, Allah's the only one that can turn. Allah's the turn of hearts. Allah can guide people. And you don't know what effect it's gonna have in the future, how it's gonna instill, maybe those seeds will grow and etc. But if somebody dies upon whatever, yeah, and their exposure to Islam is what we've done, can those people be justified to say you didn't do enough? You didn't tell me. You didn't convey the message properly to me. You didn't emphasize it. You almost allowed me to. Do you know what I mean? Are we in that stage where where our softly approach is giving people a stick to beat us with, in terms of if we're the source of Islam for certain people, then is it enough? I
don't think it's
we
ever.
Can't be.
I don't think it's ever. Well, this is just my opinion again. I don't think it's ever right or proactive to act as any person's source of Islam.
Facts.
But sometimes you are. Sometimes you are.
It can't be, bro. Huh? It has to be. This is supplementary.
Remember the cases we just spoke about, or the parent. Or was it time already?
It's not good, man.
Let's go back to where we was, so because the audience will just be confused. Obviously, we broke for Salah. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah once again. Where was we? You was talking about what I said. Islam. We can't be the only source of your Islam. Is what the you lot were saying, which I agree with. But the reality is that sometimes we are. And I think it's irresponsible for us to, not irresponsible, that's a strong word.
That's possible. You can't have one source of Islam in your life.
Not one source, but in terms of, best source.
For it to have an impact on you, it's got to come from multiple directions in your life.
Okay, you see,
but it doesn't.
I agree with that.
But it doesn't.
You see the way I see it is, I don't think it's upon us to shoulder that responsibility. We are in a position where we can provide some benefit to some younger children, but it's not for us to shoulder the responsibility of being your number one source of Islamic knowledge. In my opinion.
Al-Bashir, your number one source of Islamic. That's a throwback. You know that one, yeah?
Yeah. I don't think it's even possible.
It isn't, especially and
you say that
especially
though.
As
you say that though. But you say that though.
To be someone's,
we can't be like even us as we're still learning as well.
No, when I say
we're not an institution.
What I mean by that is, if you're in a situation where a lot of kids in youth, for example, I'm talking about the 13 to 18-year-olds, a lot of them don't even go Americas or anymore, some sort of, and they're not currently coming from Islamic house, like they're Muslim, not from Islamic households.
Practicing households, yeah. So
practicing households, sorry, that's the word I was looking for. So when I say only source, I mean practically every day, the most concentrated dose of an Islamic environment they would have got maybe the 3 days of camp. in the year, and that's what I mean.
Let me give you a scenario.
I'm getting scared. So for me, what I'm basically saying is that if we accept that we are in a position where, you know, sometimes we're the best source, and we can also see clearly, we go on our Instagram or go on to, you know, just go and look up some of these kids or whatever, and we can see that clearly it may not be having
the impact we want it to have.
And that's not me saying it doesn't have an impact, because we don't know, because, you know, only Allah knows. But we don't know. We don't think it's maybe the impact we want it to have, and just carry on doing it and just bury it up, head in the sand.
No one's saying that, but what we're discussing is, okay, let me go back to my scenario.
Yeah, go on.
You've got a brother, Ma'awiya, yeah? He's 15. Okay. Right? That's the typical, let's say 15, 14. That's the typical age group of youth, right? He's he celebrates birthdays, he does all this. His family, his brother and sister playing music all day. His mother's watching Nollywood all day. And he goes to the occasional party. But he's still got that interest in Islam. Like, he knows that, I need to go, like we said, like we discussed, I need to go Jummah at least one Friday every month. Yeah. Right? And he comes to camp. Yeah. He meets friends. He meets good people. He meets good people that he's going to contact again after camp. Mm-hmm. But he's going to go back home to music blast. I'm watching Nollywood all day. Yeah. Dad not around. Dad's in Nigeria. Yeah. There's only, if camp was the one source of income, how far is that going to go? What I could say is it will plant a seed for Muawiyah to go home and maybe in his room, lock himself in a room and watch some lectures.
100.
Maybe not the best of lectures, but what is on what do you call it on YouTube? The recommended on the homepage. Yeah. Where you just put Islam and that comes up. That's first. Yeah. If it's got bare views, it's probably not going to be the right thing for him. It's not going to be the best thing, but it's going to be a start, I guess. Yeah. Hopefully, inshallah, it will lead him to watching videos on Aqidah and whatnot. I would say that's the best case scenario. I wouldn't say, I'll say that's rarely going to happen. Mm-hmm. But again, like me and Ibs mentioned, I don't think that's the one source of Islam. That's the one, like you said, the source of Islam. Yeah, it can't be, because, like I mentioned, he's met friends. He's gonna meet those friends that he met in camp, outside camp. Yeah. They can get into. They're gonna motivate him to come to the brother circles. Through those brother circles, knowledge, or maybe not knowledge, but plant more seeds for him to go and seek his own knowledge. Do
you remember what I said at the beginning? What? And I agree with you, by the way. Do you remember what I said at the beginning? My context when I said a group of the guys talking essentially derogatory about.
Oh yeah, you didn't really speak on that.
It's not fair to you, innit?
Okay.
But this is part of what I mean. Essentially, is that are we fooling ourselves? It's partly what I mean, because ideally, the children, and let's say the child that we want to have at the age of 15, for example, 14, 15, 16, for a lot of us,
for me, it's different. To be honest. And I'm gonna get onto this point. I'm gonna get onto this point in a minute, because there's something Ibs said.
Actually, in fact, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. It's not good. But what I will say aside from that is, I asked. See the question we're discussing now, yeah. I asked this question to Ustaz Abdurrahman Hassan, literally in his face at MCO when we were there. Isa was there, and my question was. We have been doing. I explained the type of content we do.
I'd like to say, by the way, I've never had any heroes, and no idols.
I hope so.
No. You know when people say, "I want to be like this person when I grow up," or people at some point, most people have had role models.
That's the way
I've never really had that. Like there's bits of inspiration I'll take from this person, but it'll be like. the way someone dresses, or it won't be it'll be something superficial. But see Abdurrahman Hassan, Ustad Abdurrahman Hassan. See when I watch his videos, if he's see that,
There's kids in it.
I want to say Allahumma barik because wallahi, I'm actually jealous, bro. Because that's what I want. That's what I want. Allahumma barik. That's role model. Like I'll make dua for him because I'm jealous. Like Allahumma barik. Like may Allah may Allah reward him. May Allah grant his. May Allah continue to bless him and his family. Listen, that's top tier for me. That's.
Maybe Mir Isa will explain to you one day the program that he explained to us, his kids' program. SubhanAllah.
I can only imagine.
Madness.
How can you imagine? I want to be in a mix.
Madness. I think we should. Did we tell you?
I don't think you did, no.
Anyway, it's mad.
I can only imagine because I've listened to I've listened to practically all of his content.
It's about. I think he said he hasn't spoken about it publicly because it's like.
But he said something. He's spoken about some of it.
So you might get some knocks on the door.
Services,
bruh. Anyway, that is, of course.
No. Bro, he's moved to Dubai. That's what I'm talking about, Hijra.
But anyway, we're going off here. But yeah, I asked him this specific question. I asked him, I said, this is the type of content we do. We do camps, we do December camp, we do summer camp, we do, do reminders and adab series, that type of thing. And based on, we look on social media, for example, what we're seeing is that maybe it hasn't, numbers wise, it's not having the impact on the kids as much as we think. What in terms of our content, what should we kind of do? And this is after, what we've done at Man and how we switched it. So this is after, but I'll just ask him, what's his take? And his answer was knowledge. Encourage them to seek knowledge and teach durus style lessons, because what you get from that is firstly and not that there's not a place for this for the stuff that we do now, but the primary thing should be teaching them Islamic knowledge, useful, practical, important Islamic knowledge, so that firstly you can plant a seed and hopefully encourage them to go and do more outside because it lights a fire. Secondly, it's going to be things that are going to give them make them practical. And thirdly, if they go on to be, someone that seek knowledge. So think about people that seek knowledge, even people that seek knowledge, without ikhlas and without sincerity, and, people that may do it, for the clout or whatever. What it does do is it means that, if somebody's going to dedicate, let's say, just memorizing the Quran. If you're going to memorize the whole Quran, you're going to be somebody, and you spend a lot of time doing that, it's going to feel, it's going to encourage you to more stick to being a decent person, because it's a waste of time. Assalamu alaikum. We had a bit of a it's not technical difficulties. It's
racismo.
Yeah. Maybe you won't see us here anymore. Hobo life once again, back on the road. Back on the roads again. So anyway, we were talking about I was talking about the advice from Ustad Abdurrahman, and it was essentially Islamic knowledge. And I'm probably repeating what I've said, but what you'll gain from that is, what I was talking about was somebody who's the example of somebody who's memorized the Quran, and it might not, there's people that are hafid that are doing the madness, but what that journey gives you is it gives you a purpose, and on that journey you're on, or what you're told anyway, is that the reason you're doing this is to attain Jannah, to gain knowledge, to benefit you in this life and the next. So while you're doing something, so if you're somebody who's on that journey, it's gonna be harder for you, inshallah, to do stuff that is directly opposing to the knowledge you're gaining. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whereas a reminder about something that is fitrah, something that you already know, can be fleeting. That's the difference between knowledge and a reminder about adab. That's the difference. And maybe if more time was spent instilling that, focusing on that, prioritizing that, then you might you might garner a more meaningful change in the people. And obviously, with tawfiq, it's with Allah. Look at the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's the example. Countless examples. Look at his journey to Taif when he went there with Zayd ibn Harith, and they threw stones at him. Or when he was trying to give dawah, he was bleeding, and
they put His intestines on his back.
Rap, all that sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so, you know, that's the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the person who the Quran was revealed to, upon. Who are we to think that, you know, the dawah that we give is necessarily gonna, you know, make a change in somebody's life instantly? We just have to, you know, just have to think of, you know, to make dua that is successful, keep our intentions pure, and hope that it's a means for us to enter Jannah. That's the bottom line. But yeah, so.
Bring it up then.
Huh?
Why'd you bring it up?
Because we got to get an episode out.
But with what I said with regards to, I think this scenario, because you mentioned us, like this scenario, I would only say would work for people like us, or not necessarily us, but people where they've already been infected, should I say, by society and whatnot. Like with me specifically, my plans are to raise my children inside inside a system where, like, that's what I'm saying about what we talked about at the retreat. And you mentioned the importance of children that don't go to school familiarizing and hanging out with other kids. I don't think that's important. I know we disagreed on it, but I don't think that's important at all. If anything, it breeds room for, because if you think about the advantages, if you weigh the advantages and disadvantages of kids that don't go to school interacting with, being forced to interact with other kids, or making an effort for them to interact with other kids versus them not interacting with other kids. It's okay, disadvantages, they pick up bad stuff from other kids. You know, they learn stuff that is not from the home, outside. And then, I'm talking about the best case scenario where I'm not talking about your kids mixing with other kids that are just haywire. I'm talking about kids, for example, taking them to a Muslim club, or where, like, I don't know. For example, there's a club in East London called Talabiyah Club. Taking them to that, for example. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Versus not making an effort for them to see other kids. But they will naturally see other kids when they go. For example, I plan to take my children horse riding. I plan to take my children karting. I plan to take them to so many. Why are you laughing?
I'm just imagining mini dollars karting, innit?
We're not terrorizing the roads.
Come on, not the roads, the track. But yeah. Plan to
in preparation to terrorize the roads.
No. We do this stuff. We do this stuff professionally, not. But yeah, I plan for my children, each of my children, to be like multifaceted, like be skilled in many areas, inshallah. That's another thing about homeschooling. You can do this. Like you can, and I've heard about plenty of children that have gone over with their families in Hijrah, and the parents have said, oh yeah, it's easier to do this stuff because horse riding, all of this stuff is dirt, and especially Egypt, like stuff is dirt cheap. Like they can take their children horse riding, they can take their children archery, they can take their children dirt biking, all of the quad bike, all of this stuff, and dirt cheap, rent dirt cheap. But that's Hijrah is another, and that's another whole podcast. As well as polygamy, as well as listen, I'm on it.
I think you might have missed it. Anyway, have we? What? Did we do polygamy? Yeah.
No, we haven't.
We ain't
not
done
properly.
Polygamy.
No, we haven't done it.
We ain't done polygamy.
Didn't Feeks? No, Feeks. No,
we ain't done it properly.
Listen, I'm trying to take over, bruv. That's why I'm doing polygamy.
We ain't done it
do you know what it is?
I'm trying to take over.
Are we not?
We haven't done it.
You haven't done it.
Okay.
You definitely haven't done it.
That episode will come.
Because
it will come.
there's so many benefits.
Okay.
We haven't done
but
I thought we had. Okay.
Maybe we've alluded to it, but we haven't.
Oh, we definitely alluded to it. Every other episode.
We ain't done a polygamy episode.
If you speak about it,
maybe I'm thinking of a different.
Someone that is serious, because
that's the point. Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't. When I speak about polygamy with my wife, it's proper because she knows I'm serious. Like if I was to come and say, I'm considering. She knows it's not a joke thing.
I realize.
Like, that's the thing about me. I don't joke about polygamy, even with amongst the brothers. Like I don't joke about it, and I don't understand how, because it's something serious, like extremely serious. It's not to be taken lightly.
I think we laugh about it a little bit because of the context in which.
I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about generally. I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about in the group chats, we're like, haha, second wife, third wife.
You don't
and not that it's wrong.
Yeah.
But me personally, I don't play around with it
Mm.
because of the significance and the weight of it. And
Do
you know that.
Do you know what I think sometimes? I think...
We need to wrap though.
Yeah, I know. We'll wrap off this, inshallah. But I think sometimes because that the topic of polygamy is...
So demonized.
Yeah. So the humor is kind of like a shoehorn to get it in the door so that we can start talking about it.
It makes it easier to talk about.
Yeah.
But you know, I've heard somebody.
But
I've heard somebody say
it doesn't need to be made easier to talk
some
about.
people.
If
Some
you're
people
talking
say
about it, you're talking about it.
Some people say that it feeds the people who want it to be seen as something that is, weird, or something that is, demonized, or something that's not a good thing. It suits their agenda to always giggle and laugh about it because it makes it seem like it's a weird. And so people say that fits that suits that agenda, which I get, but it's easy to do, and
also
it's because
it's obviously overshadowed by a bunch of waste men who are just you hear of these examples all the time. It's not even just doing it wrong, like getting their wives to get the social credit or universal credit, saying that they're single. All of this, I've heard of it. All of it, not even heard of it. Like there's examples,
that's
not
people,
around us,
people
because we're not waste men. But there's we hear of these examples all the time. But again, that's overshadowed by proper men that are doing it properly, and the reasons why we're doing it is for proper reasons, i.e. many children, inshallah, like many children, inshallah, taking care of people, taking responsibility, like being real men, like being special men.
I'm gonna have to get you back for that.
I
have a feeling I know who I want. I remembered why I thought we spoke about it, because we spoke about it after an episode in detail with.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
why I was thinking, but it wasn't on the podcast.
Well, I guess that has been on already.
Yeah. Alright, cool. Let's Ibs, take us out, inshallah.
Barakallahu feek for listening, people.
Subscribe though.
Do that.
Alhamdulillah, it's been a good catch up off camera and on camera, man.
Trust me.
We haven't even talked about since the last time I was on the podcast. All of us have moved, man. You guys have moved into your.
Yeah, I've moved.
I haven't moved.
Huh?
Yeah, you lived.
No, but you've moved into your own.
Oh,
place.
You was you married by the time you left?
Yeah, come on.
Right,
okay, but basically all of us are now have our own houses.
Them 2021 new youths, man. Them, them inexperienced. I got married 10 minutes ago and that.
We'll have you.
I wanted to talk about moving and how you guys found it, because moving is always stressful.
We have to do that off air.
Now that
it's probably the most annoying adult activity.
I know.
You know, so I'm gonna go home and carry on building the wardrobe.
Experiences with neighbours as well. Because I already mentioned on this podcast the crazy frog on Sundays. There's so much more, bro. So much more. SubhanAllah.
I need to go and face the music downstairs, or face the nasheed downstairs.
Have you back, inshallah. But yeah, barakallahu feek for listening, people. Sorry we've been away for so long. We'll be back with the consistency.
Inshallah, we're gonna have some good content. We're gonna have some campsite content soon, inshallah.
We've got some content cooking for you. So yeah, apologies for that we've been away, but we are now back, inshallah. Back to our regular schedule. But yeah, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, comment, share. Follow us on Jollof After Jummah everywhere. Yeah, alright, cool. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
ولما قسى قلبي وضاقت مذاهبي جعلت رجائي دون عفوك سلما تعاظمني ذنبي فلما قرنته بعفوك ربي كان عفوك أعظما فما زلت ذا عفو عن الذنوب لم تزل تجود وتعفو منة وتكرما.